with me. You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane, it's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
Push until I fall
up all the pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back, cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
Mike, let me figure out how to get this damn other stuff off the screen here. How y'all doing tonight? We don't need this screen anymore. It's been a while since I've used Restream, Mike. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just great. Here, let me just adjust the lighting. It looks a little bit blurry there. Oh, there, that's much better.
And howdy, y'all. Let me get the chat up here so I can see it. We'll put it on screen also.
You haven't done one of these for a while?
What's that?
You haven't done one of these for a while? Mostly been solo?
Yeah, been solo. I've been trying to get Mediocre to do some live streams, but he's been busy with other stuff and his trades are tied up in something that, you know, he's like, I don't want to talk about it right now. Let's wait till that one moons and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it solo. That's fine. We did. I don't know if you heard, Massalorian came back maybe a month ago. I did a live stream with him.
Yeah, I remember seeing that a little while back there. Sounds like he moved and he's kind of busy grinding and doing a whole bunch of different stuff.
Busy grinding. Yeah. I want to talk to him before the next movie comes out, Mandalorian and Grogu, and see how he's feeling about that. Cause he's really into that stuff much more so than me. What are we drinking tonight, Mike?
I was on the rum and now I got a little bit of whiskey. So
I'm doing one of the, what do you call it? The
Caesar?
Michelada.
Oh, okay. Okay. Getting fancy.
Is really good. Let's see. We can put up a screen share of my other screen here too. Screen share. We're going to talk about Netflix backed out, Mike.
Yeah. What a bunch of drama in the last few weeks.
Paramount is now going to get control of Netflix. Let's put this chart over here. There we go. No, Tony, back over there. Paramount. Let's just take a quick look. P-Sky is the ticker, and it had a nice little run up today, and I think Netflix did as well, right?
Yeah. It really took a hit when it started the acquisition rumors. So I guess investors or Wall Street, and I'm the furthest thing from an expert on mergers and acquisitions, but they really did not like it for Netflix for some reason. But they seem to like it for Paramount and Skydancer.
The thing that has been most interesting to me, Mike, in all of this, and I think you and I are on board with, neither one of us were thrilled if Netflix was going to get Warner Brothers.
No.
because of their previous communication about limiting the theatrical window.
Yeah, yeah, and the more I read up on it, because like I obviously have my particular interest with AMC and stuff like that. Even when they were committing with a 45-day window and that went forward, there was a lot of articles about you're still shortening exclusivity because you're losing out the premium video on demand window, which that does affect theatrical, but you could have movies running theatrical and pay for home, but they still have some of that pay for exclusivity, which keeps the theatrical numbers up. This is some research I was reading, some analysts, guys who are involved in production and stuff like that. And so they're saying even if Netflix maintained that window, they're still eroding that exclusivity because it would go directly to streaming after it would be all said and done. And then even if Netflix did it, who knows how long they would do it for. And Netflix CEO Ted Sandros there has multiple times trashed theater. So, I didn't really trust the guy. But
us being more involved in the cinema world, I think most of us aligned on from the cinema side. We're not big fans of Netflix taking over. But what was interesting for me to watch, Mike, in the news and social media is how many people turned this into a political battle.
Yeah.
I was not expecting. Of course, I try and stay out of those discussions, but someone I did tweet, and I think you might have been on that tweet today too. Someone was calling the fact that Paramount's going to acquire Warner Brothers. They said this is un-American.
Yeah.
What was un-American about the process, Mike? Can you fill me in?
Capitalism is un-American. Somebody bids a higher price.
Capitalism is un-American.
And ultimately, so just to give my opinion on it, I think the best thing would be if this never happened, if Warner Bros. Stayed independent.
I can see that, and I wouldn't disagree.
But given the best of both worlds, and I think as Netflix made some tall promises saying we're going to keep a theatrical window, but Paramount also made some tall promises saying we're going to do 30 releases a year, which is not a small number. Like that's, even if you take those studios separately, I was, looking up some data. I think on average combined over the last 10 years, they did about 24 releases per year. So, they're adding another 6 releases. Now, is there room in the release schedule? Oh, 100%. Like October and February and September have been barren since COVID. You've had a really hard time getting releases there. So there's room for it, but that's a lot of movies for one studio, I guess, even combined to put out. So we'll see if this goes through, and if it kind of goes through all the hurdles, we'll see if they can live up to that hype there, right?
Warner Brothers is they've been getting destroyed for the last couple of years up until this news about getting acquired came out. Has it been since September that we've been talking about this?
Yeah, I think they put themselves up for sale. It was sometime last year, and then Paramount came in with bids, and then Netflix played coy and said we're not interested, and all of a sudden they came up with a bid, and then all the drama started, and it's been going on for quite some time ever since, right?
Now, have you had time to read into this? I saw a couple articles. I haven't read everything, but it appears to me that there's already, like, someone in California is already trying to say they're not going to approve of this. I don't know what California even has to do with it, but
I just don't know enough about it to say whether this is political, posturing and them being like,
theater.
He's friends with Trump, so we're going to make a stand.
Yeah,
I think California has probably some like this affects them directly, because combining the studios, there's going to be job cuts, and that's going to affect people in California, so they don't like the merger. But so I looked at the actual numbers, and like I said, I'm not a legal expert, so this is a very layman's view, and I could be wrong on a lot of this stuff. But when you get into like antitrust and monopoly laws, usually I think there's some kind of barrier. Like if one single company owns, it's over 30% of the market share, then you start running into problems. And with the antitrust and why, from what I understand, Netflix had a legitimate antitrust issue because for paid streaming, if you combine Netflix and you combine Warner Brothers, they have over a 30% market share for paid streaming. Whereas if you combine theatrical or you combine paid streaming or you combine news media or whatever, the Paramount Warner Brothers they become competitive. They become one of the top competitors, but they don't surpass that threshold.
Right.
So that might be a very naive view of it. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand antitrust law at all, but from the brief little research I did, that seems to be some kind of threshold where, these antitrust issues come in. And I think why, getting away from political gamesmanship and partisanship, I think that's why they thought that the Netflix merger was going to have a bunch of legal issues because the market share would be so huge between them. Yeah.
Just to be clear, I'm not an antitrust lawyer yet either.
Yeah. it's on the list after this though, Tony. You got to start doing your research.
I did play one on TV, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were an actor, I heard. Yeah.
Famous, infamous.
Yeah.
The thing that I was hearing with this Paramount taking over Warner Brothers is that this could still take about a year. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I heard that. Yep.
And the other big thing that I wanted to hear your thoughts on, and we've been talking about it in the Discord since this news broke, is that is Netflix pulling a poker move? Did they push the price up just to trap Paramount? And now, Paramount is overpaying for Warner Brothers, and Netflix gets that whatever the breakup fee of like $2.8 billion for walking away.
Yeah, I've seen that. I would think like, and I don't know Ellison. I don't know the deals they made. I don't know how business savvy they are, but they had the opportunity to walk away as well. So I think if they thought the price was getting pushed up to the point where they're overpaying, if they made a bad business decision, then they're going to have to live with it and they're going to have to deal with it. You probably need someone like Markets with May on here to look at balance sheets and mergers and acquisitions and get her expertise to say, what does this mean for like a Paramount Warner Brothers merger? Like how much leverage is there? Is this over leveraged? Can they produce enough content to kind of cover this debt and be accreditive? Like those are all really complex questions that I'm certainly not the guy to ask about it, but I guess we'll find out. I haven't whether they overpaid or what happened.
I trade a lot of stocks in this sector, but I haven't traded any of these particular studios, Warner Brothers or Paramount. So I'm not familiar enough with their financials. Yeah. Obviously Warner Brothers was struggling, right? That's why they put themselves up for sale.
I think both of them were, and I think, and my expertise, or not even expertise, but my research and my interest comes more theatrically, right? Because I'm kind of into AMC, and so I think the big issue with Paramount is that they have limited IP and they're not putting out enough movies. And there's some fragility in both companies as a result of debt and COVID and things that have happened. So them combining and bringing this IP together and then getting rid of that middle management staff that you can get rid of in a merger that doesn't really do anything and that's redundant, it can kind of streamline them and kind of make them more viable, more powerful. So
Wonder Twins unite.
Sorry, what's that?
I said Wonder Twins unite. That.
Yeah. So we'll see if that's the case.
Are you old enough to remember those cartoons, Mike?
Wonder Twins? No, not that one. That's maybe a little bit before my time.
I grew up. You didn't watch He-Man either, did you?
What's that? You
didn't watch the original He-Man either?
The original He-Man, I remember. Like X-Men, I remember. There was like a D&D cartoon when I was a kid. Like that's the kind of stuff I watched. Some of the other stuff is a little bit before my time though. I was after Voltron, I'll put it that way. But He-Man I remember for sure.
Are you excited about the He-Man movie coming out?
Me and so a bunch of my buddies, and so I'm 45 and we're all around the same age, and we were all watching the trailer together and actually giving each other high fives. It was pretty funny. I think they nailed it with the trailer. So we'll see how it turns out. I thought the trailer was quite good. Lots of nostalgia there, and I think they seem to do a good job with it.
We're going to try and catch Scream 7 this weekend, maybe Wuthering Heights. We've been going to smaller movies, and because I know they're all going to get pushed out off the screen. So we've been
there hasn't been a lot in February though. It's been a wasteland again. There's been some mid tiers, but
I've managed to see 2 or 3 movies a week.
Yeah.
During the month of February, but they weren't all fantastic. Let's be real. There were a couple.
I think we went to go see Send Help. I still don't know what to think about it, but I was definitely entertained. That movie was like 4 different genres mashed into one. I left that movie with a smile on my face, but I still don't know if I liked it or not.
Dink says they didn't have to make it so high to be a bad decision, just enough to make it a price at the top end of the range. Who is the they in your first part of your sentence, Dink? Are you talking about Netflix bidding it up and trapping Paramount? Anya says,
I think that seems to be what he means. Yeah.
Anya says the Ellisons are very business savvy. The dad is one of the richest people in the world. I was scrolling through the news on my iPad this morning, and my wife stopped me, and she's like, "Who is that? Who's that picture on your Twitter feed?" And it was Mr. Ellison and his son. And she's like, "He looks just like his dad, just like your sons look just like you, Tony." I was like, well, they're both more handsome than me, Mike, the Ellisons, and they have more money.
You're a pretty handsome guy, Tony. They definitely have more money. They have more money than most. Yeah.
Speaking of sons, Mike was asking me, is it true, Tony, that you and your wife are having a baby? That is true. There is another little boy on the way. We are, what is today, the 27th? We're 30 days out, you guys. I know we kept it a secret for a long time because of her health issues, and this wasn't our first attempt, and we wanted to make sure things were well on the way, but he's just 30 days away. Mike, life is going to change. The live streams are going to change. We might have cartoons on in the background, Mike.
Yeah, I've got a lot of chums I hang out with, and like I was saying earlier, and they're in their early 30s and starting families and stuff like that, and I'm on the tail end of it. I have a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old, so I've got nothing but time on my hands now. And if they bring their new babies around, I'm always happy to hold them and cuckoo them, and I'm super happy for them. But I'm glad I don't got to go through it again. That time for me is done.
My one of my sons was over here today, and we were doing some stuff together, and we went to lunch, and I was having him check out the new report card that I'm working on to share with all of you guys about the stocks that we cover on the channel. I don't know if you've ever seen my red, yellow, green report card, Mike.
Yeah, you sent me via DM, I think, your newest update to them. I never responded back, but I looked at them. Similar but different to the original one you had.
The previous one was very basic, and I'm trying to make this one based on the things that I know that I analyze. How could I make it more useful to everybody? And so I had my son look it over today. I've been working on it for a couple days. Why would you have your kid look at a financial report card, you might say? He's studying for the CPA certification right now. He's finishing up his master's degree in accounting. So he approved of the report card, Mike.
You liked it?
Yeah. And then we talked some stock talk, and when I go over some of the more speculative stocks that we cover, that we dabble in, he just kind of shakes his head.
Like, what are you doing? Stay away.
He knows that I know how to size a position and manage risk, but when we talk about how social media talks about these stocks, he's like, "What are these people? What are they thinking?" I was like, "Well, you're not in social media, so you don't really know what they're thinking. But what they're not thinking about is the actual financials."
Yeah, it's a shame, and you get a bit too much of it. But like I remember some of the chats we've had, you've kind of made some jokes that said, you know, hey Mike, you're more conservative than I am, and but I'm in the same way. I'm into AMC right now as a speculative trade, and I obviously have a different time frame, and I've been wrong on when the recovery is going to happen. I was pretty sure in about Q3 of 2024 we're going to see it, and then when that didn't work out, we had a terrible Q1 in 2025. I thought Q2 was the change, and then 2025 was really disappointing. But you know, the sizing matters. So even if AMC went to zero and I lost all the money I have in it, it's not a small amount. Like I'm still fine. My life doesn't change, and I'm able to take that risk because I'm in that position. But
on your AMC trade, those bets you were making wasn't particularly about AMC. You had certain expectations about box office, right? That just didn't pan out.
Yeah, and I won't lie. Like I've you know, I've been involved in AMC since the original squeeze happened, right? And I got caught up in all the hype and stuff like that too. And there's some smart people that have tinfoil, and I don't know enough to know if the tinfoil is true or not. And there's a whole bunch of nonsense, but maybe some of it is not quite nonsense. So the reason I got involved in an individual stock is because, well, that's kind of a rocket ship 0.1% chance if that's actually true or not. So that kind of keeps me in there. But ultimately, I'm in there because it's a box office recovery play. If some of this tinfoil is true, then all the better for me. But I'm willing to take that risk, right? And I have the ability to take that risk because I'm, you know, I have a pretty good job and a pretty good amount of savings, so I can blow some money on kind of taking a chance at it.
Alfredo says, "Are there going to be baby food sponsors?" There might be. You never know. Baby food, baby clothing, diapers. You know, hit me up, you advertisers. Hang on, Mike. I'm going to get a refill on my drink. Netflix doesn't even like theaters. Why go for Warner Brothers? Right, Dink? Right? I'll be right back.
I can't carry a live chat on my own, so we got to wait for Tony. This is his world, not mine. So I'm just going to sit here silently till he comes back. But for all those people that jumped into HYMC when AMC got into it, well, congrats to them, man.
I know, man. That's been a fantastic trade, and I can't wait to see the new technical report with economics that is due to come out. And I heard there was a new Eric Sprott interview that dropped today. I haven't had a chance to watch it today.
The one good thing that I did where I saw a little bit of it. So in my main portfolio, like my investments in because I'm Canadian, in my RRSPs and my TFSAs. So I generally was always into like a total market ETF, 80% stocks, 20% bonds. But you know, I always do some reading and stuff like that. And one of the things they said is you know, maybe that kind of portfolio was in the past, and you should have some exposure to commodities like precious metals, and have some exposure to maybe some Bitcoin or cryptos just in case. So I did rebalance my main portfolio to go 70, 15, 15. You know, 70 with the ETF, and I hit the silver ETF before it kind of rose too much. So I saw some really big returns on that in the last month and a half. So that was quite nice. So I'm just kind of rebalancing that, and every 3 months I kind of readjust it. So we'll see if that keeps going and what happens with HYMC and the commodities in the short term. So that's really good for those people that kind of got involved in that. And hopefully they made some, if they had some losses on AMC, hopefully they made a bunch of that back.
I've definitely seen some people that have said that, Mike, that they made back all of their losses on AMC with Hycroft, and I love to see that. I did have some SLV. I sold this on this high point here. Was 109. I think I sold around 102. Yeah. And that was just fortunate timing. It was just too many people that were too bullish. And so I got out, and then like the next day it dropped. Yeah. And I thought we might retest the 50 moving average down here, but clearly we didn't get anywhere close to that. So I've just been kind of sitting on the fence, just, you know, watching. We'll see what happens. I might get back in. I might not.
Yeah. So I have it up as a permanent part of my portfolio now, and then I do a rebalance once every like 3 months or so. So if my allocation gets out more than 5%, I buy and sell and readjust. So that's kind of how I've been managing it now. But that's been awesome. I wish I would have bought a HYMC at
I had some HYMC too, Mike, and I traded out of it before my SLV, which was a mistake. I should have done it the other way around because
it's basically a leveraged. It's basically a leveraged silver and gold bet.
Yeah.
HYMC, right? Yeah.
Anya says Tony will make his own baby food. I'm pretty sure, Anya, that my wife will be making baby food. She's already talked to me about that. I will not be making any baby food.
Is this her first kid, Tony?
Her first kid, yeah.
Oh, okay. So she's going to be nervous and worried about everything, and you've been through it before, so you'll be sitting back and be like,
I'll be the calm one, telling her everything's okay. But I mean, she's done babysitting of relatives' kids. She's familiar around kids, but you know how it is when it's your kid, Mike.
When it's the first one, especially. Yeah. Or my daughter was first, and every little thing was an emergency. And then when my boy was born, like, yeah, okay, he's fine.
Yeah.
It changes pretty quick once you go through it once. Yeah.
I've never done the make your own baby food thing. So if she does follow through on that, I'm going to be impressed. You know, back in my day, I'm sure people made their own baby food, but we just bought Gerber, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I remember those days. I miss them. You know, the best time I found with kids was probably between about 6 and 12. And just like, you know, you're just the best person ever, and dad's the best and mom's the best and all this kind of stuff. And then puberty hits and it's a little bit rocky for a few years. And I found, for me, especially when they're younger, like, you know, I love my kids, but when they're a little baby, there's not much for you to do, right? They want mom all the time and stuff like that. But I really loved from about 6 to 12. That was peak parenthood time. And I do miss that part of it.
Do you have boys or girls?
One of each. Older girl, younger boy. Yeah. So, you know, just need the white picket fence and everything's perfect there.
I was curious on number 3 here if it would be a girl, because that often is a pattern in my family, 2 boys and then a girl. But we got blessed with a third son. So.
Oh, another boy. Oh, good. Would you have liked to have a girl just to kind of?
I would have been fine either way with it, Mike.
Yeah. So no preference either way. Just whatever happens.
Whatever makes her happy, the wife. You know, when we first started dating and we're talking about marriage and all that, she's like, you know, I know you're a little older than me, and that's fine. I don't want to date somebody my age because they're all jerks, assholes, immature, blah blah blah. She's like, but I do want to have a kid one day. Are you okay with that? And I said, yes, I'm theoretically okay with it.
That's a reasonable question. You know, yeah, good for her though. She got to put the ground rules out to make sure if
it's serious, I mean, it's always been laying under the surface there, Mike, for the last 10 years. And there is a funny story, you guys. I don't know, some of y'all might have heard this before, but Mike, about February of 2025, I remember it was evening in an AMC parking lot. We were going in to see a movie. Can you believe this shit?
Yeah.
She's like, stop. She just grabbed me. She's like, stop. Don't get out of the car. Before we go in there, I want you to pinky swear that we're going to get pregnant this year. So I said, yes, of course. And that pinky swear was done in an AMC parking lot, Mike, if you can believe it.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Funny how all stories tie back to AMC, even in our world.
Yeah. So you got to buy a whole bunch of stock now.
Yeah, I'm already getting his trust fund ready. Just loading up with AMC stock and SLV.
Kids ain't cheap, man. Kids ain't cheap.
I don't know, Mike, how I'm worried that having a kid is going to affect our movie going habits. I might have to leave her at home.
Well, that's fine. You need time to yourself. You know, you're a better parent.
There you go. It's Tony time.
You have something to look forward to. Yeah. I always had, when my kids were young, I always had men's club on Tuesdays. I'm a big golf nut, right? So on Tuesdays, I know I had 4 hours and got to get with the boys and go play golf and have a couple drinks and not worry about it. And then the rest of the 6 days of the week, I was, home and and with the kid, but you always had that little something to look forward to when, you know, you haven't had any sleep and you hadn't any time to yourself. I found that was kind of the best way to work things out.
We had that conversation in the car, you guys, because she's 35 and she's like, look, this is the age, Tony. I've let you put it off for all of these years we've been together, but this is the year. and I couldn't disagree, Mike. You know what I'm saying? 35.
Hey, if you said yeah,
it's
if
still
you said yeah, then you got to follow through.
It's still biologically possible for her after 35, but it starts becoming more risky.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So here we are, and I'm super excited, and she's over the moon.
Good. It'll be fun. Can't wait till the baby's on a live stream, Tony.
Baby UFO says, looks like AMC causing 18 years of bills. Yeah. The promise was made, baby UFO. The promise was made long before I bought any AMC stock. But the actual pinky promise that it was going to happen this year, that was made in an AMC parking lot. Maybe we should have AMC sponsor the baby, Mike.
Well, there you go. Well, hopefully the box office is big enough that they can afford to do it.
Are there any movies you're looking forward to? I said we're probably going to go try and see Scream 7 and Wuthering Heights, but what else is coming up in March? There's a couple big ones, right?
So the big one I want to see, I'm not as a prolific as a moviegoer as you are. I probably go, me and my wife like to go maybe about once a month or so.
Project Hail Mary.
Sometimes we skip one, sometimes we go to a couple, depending what's coming out. But the big next one I really want to see is that Project Hail Mary. That one looks spectacular. That's going to be worth the price of admission for sure.
And someone was asking me about The Bride, but I'll go see The Bride, but I haven't seen one single damn advertisement for it, Mike.
That one doesn't look my taste. There's some good actors in it, but
when the reviews say you could tell that this movie was made by somebody who loves the idea of cinema. I was like, oh great, so it's an artsy film.
Yeah. And I don't mind some artsy films, but they have to be your particular taste.
Right.
I'm a big pop culture guy. I've always loved nerdy stuff. I love Star Wars. I love Marvel movies. I love all that stuff. So I make sure I always go see those, the good ones at least. And outside of that, like a trailer or a certain movie has to hit me. So probably if I get to the movies again before Project Hail Mary, Crime 101 is one I want to see. That one looked particularly good.
It's pretty good.
But outside of that, we'll see what happens.
What about Hoppers? Hoppers is the other one. I know it's kind of a kids movie, but
my kids are too old to.
But it looks funny even for adults, and my wife loves silly movies like that. So I'm sure we'll be seeing Hoppers.
Perfect, and hopefully that one does well and has some nice legs, kind of a la Elemental. So,
Baby UFO says, "Will you name him Adam?" No.
Will you name him?
That would be funny.
Or Aaron.
Adam or Aaron. No, his Anya knows the name. His name is going to be Colt. We went through a long list of Italian names and she would not agree to any of them. So we flipped the script to Texan names. And she had a list, and that was the one that we agreed on.
Tony Jr. wasn't on the list?
What?
Tony Jr.?
Well, my first son is Tony Jr.
Oh, Tony the third.
Could be, yeah, he could be. I could just do like, what's his name? George Foreman, and name all my kids George.
Works. Colt's a good name. I like that. Yeah.
Demon Slayer, Bride. I'm seeing people talking about movies. Mike, did you get a chance this week to listen in on any other Exhibitor earnings call?
Yeah, I did listen to Cinemark, the one that you played, because I find their results are particularly congruent with kind of how AMC does.
Right.
Listened in on the AMC one, obviously. And then I just kind of like got the synopsis from IMAX. The Marcus one I didn't really follow. I find Marcus has like hotel stuff. I find Cinemark's kind of more relevant. And the IMAX stuff, I just love to hear how IMAX is doing. So I kind of looked at basically what their revenues were, how they were doing, and IMAX seemed to have blown it out of the park and are expecting more growth. So that's always a good thing. And yeah, like I said, I wish I would have gotten to IMAX at about 14. That would have been nice.
IMAX really had a good run this week. Cinemark closed up today, almost 6%. IMAX up to 40, almost $43. It went over 43 today. It pushed through the supply zone, the previous highs. So
what's not to like about them?
Yeah,
like they're just growing market share.
Mike, you know what I find funny is people get mad on social media that I cover other exhibitors in this sector or that I own them. And I just can't, can you help me understand, Mike, why people are mad that I might own profitable companies that are growing?
I don't know. I don't quite get it. Like, so for me, the reason I'm in AMC is because I think there's outsized returns.
There absolutely could be. That's why I have traded it before also.
But like everything has to align, and the box office, like this year is kind of like, so like I said, I have a speculative investment. Like this year has to be a barn burner. This year has to be pretty close to 10 billion. And then next year has to be even better for me to recoup and probably get some sort of return on the investment I have in now. Because if it isn't, like, you're looking at additional equity issuances and who knows what's going to happen to the price, right? But if you're looking for safe investments and you want to pick individual stocks, like never mind Cinemark, like I love IMAX. IMAX has way more growth potential. They don't have any sort of physical locations.
They have global
cinema is really turning into an event industry with big blockbusters kind of rocking things, and people want premium formats, and IMAX and Dolby are the number one premium format. So yeah, and they're growing. Their revenue is like breaking records every year. So what's not to like?
Huge margins, global footprint, exposure to China. There's so much to like. And I'm just going to say, if there's any of you that are mad at any of us for trading these other stocks, look, I don't think that anybody should have a one stock portfolio. That's just too much risk in one basket. And so, look, we're spending every day looking at movies, looking at exhibitor stocks, analyzing, and why not have a couple in the hopper that are making you money while you're maybe you're losing on AMC, or maybe you're sitting out like me. I'm sitting out AMC waiting for my moment to pounce. But why, what am I going to do, Mike? Just let that money stay in cash? No, I'm going to invest it in something that's growing while I'm waiting for the moment to flip back into AMC.
And even if you're just in AMC, you should be listening to these other investor calls to get an idea of where the industry's going. I've gotten so much good information out of IMAX and Cinemark investor calls. It's ridiculous.
That's if you own GameStop, you should be paying attention to Nintendo and Best Buy, right?
100%. 100%.
You can't operate, guys, in a silo when you're owning a company. You must be as familiar with the competition as you are with the company that you own. It's a SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And somewhere in those, whether maybe a threat is the competition, you better understand it.
Yeah, 100%. And like even like so I've gone through Cinemark's operation statement. I've gone through their profitability. I listen to their calls all the time, and it's given me a better understanding of the industry in general. And it's been great for my understanding of what AMC's strengths and weaknesses are, and what I need to expect if I expect a return or an outsized return on the investment. So like, even if you're not in them, you should be listening to them and seeing what's going on.
And one thing we hear, Mike, as we listen to all of these CEOs, Sean Gamble, Rich Gelfond, and what's his name? I forget his first name, David Marcus or something. Marcus.
Yeah.
All of them are expecting a great rest of this year. I know Q1 sucks. It's brutal. It's going to remain brutal.
Yeah.
But
Better than last year, but it's not saying okay. So
Better than
because I'm
last
in
year,
AMC, I've
but
done
not good enough, right?
not even close to good enough. Like so, I've done a bunch of analysis on a million things, and it's just like AMC's become more of a hobby. It's become more of a like almost an obsession since I've been involved with it. And like I've looked at kind of like movie revenues based on genre, based on everything like post COVID. How streaming has kind of has affected things, and there's probably about a 5 to 15% hit on the box office on streaming. But the one thing that's really murdered AMC because of scale is how barren Q1 has been.
Yeah,
like they're losing 300 or 400 million every Q1.
Q1 is killing the entire year.
Yeah, like look at those Q1s pre-pandemic.
Look down here.
2.4 billion, 2.8, 2.9 billion.
If we had anything close to this from Hollywood, Mike, and this is not AMC's fault, this is Hollywood.
There's the release schedule has been barren.
If we had anything close to this, none of these movie exhibitors would be having problems. But you can't go from 2.8, 2.9 billion in Q1 down to 1.4, 1.6, 1.7. It just doesn't work for a big company. Even the smaller ones are struggling. Yeah. iPic just filed Chapter 11. Did you hear about that?
I posted on that, which is actually kind of good because a lot of their locations are direct competitors to AMC.
Yeah, fuck them, Mike.
Yeah, so hopefully they stay closed, which isn't nice to say, but I'm biased for sure. But the thing is, when you look at like Q1 can even lose money. Q1 can come at let Q1 come in at 2 billion, 2.1 billion. Let AMC lose. Like look at the last 3 quarters of 2025. It was disappointing. The summer box office was 3.5 billion when everyone was expecting 4 billion. October was fucking awful and destroyed Q4. And free cash flow in the last 3 quarters was still positive $50 million. But Q1 was negative 400 fucking million.
Yeah.
Because it was 1.4 billion because there was 0 fucking releases. So just give me a Q1 where the losses are 100 million and AMC's going to generate probably a bunch of money if Q2, Q3, and Q4 can come in at 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 billion. And it doesn't need to be pre-pandemic numbers.
Mike,
but they need that to stop the equity issuances.
Knowing what you know about box office and Q1 and operating leverage and the inverse of operating leverage, right? How it hurts you if you don't have adequate box office. What is your thought on the people who say we need a replacement for Adam Aaron because anybody could do this job better than him?
No, well, so, and I get into some debates sometimes, which I shouldn't, but like, so.
No, you should. I'm curious what you think.
But I do. I'm a passionate person. But so a lot of people blame Adam Aaron because they say he paid too much back in 2017 to buy Carmike and to buy Odeon.
Maybe he did.
And he might have, but he couldn't predict a pandemic.
That's the follow-on, right? Maybe he did overpay, but the box office was running 11 billion back then.
So at 11 billion, it's not an issue, but now it's a big fucking issue, and they've got to dig their way out of it. And the only way for them to dig their way out of it is to have a box office that is 10 billion this year and grows from there. Like AMC can't survive on a 9 billion box office moving on in the future.
Mike, why don't they just shut a bunch of locations like GameStop? It seems easy. Ryan Cohen did it. Why can't Adam do it?
Well, you know the answers to all those because some of the leases are like 25 years long. So if you listen to the earnings calls and you listen to Sean Goodman, about 10% of their leases come up every year. So they have 860, 870 theaters. So about 80 or 90 theaters leases come up every year. And the ones that are unprofitable, they cut. And the ones that aren't, they don't. And I'm sure there's some leases that are 1 or 2 years away. And maybe they're such money losers that they can break the lease. It's worth them paying that extra money. But they can only do so much. If a theater has a 15-year lease and it's losing $1 million a year, but it's going to cost $40 million to break that 15 years, they just can't do it. So
right.
it has to make sense financially, right?
Do you know, do you happen to know of the 900 or so locations that they own or lease, what the average lease duration is remaining? If we look at the entire fleet,
I don't know that personally. I know you've tweeted about it, but I haven't looked into that. But I know it's not a small number.
7.7 years.
12 years. Yeah, yeah.
So that
And
means that, you
yeah,
know, over half the leases, you know, you're not going to be able to cancel them for 8 or more years.
yeah.
And maybe some small percentage are in that far left-hand side where we
The
can
money. Yeah.
close 20, 30, 40. I hope, Mike, that they're the really old decrepit Carmike theaters, that those will be the first ones that go this year.
Yeah. I think the issue is, though, um, when AMC did the roll up, they knew they were taking on dogs, even at 11.5 billion box office. But they're like, well, 11.5 billion box office moving forward, we're going to be just fine. We're generating free cash flow, and we'll cut these dogs as it comes. But when the box office all of a sudden is 9 billion, the number of dogs you have is probably a lot bigger.
How about when the box office is 2 billion or 3 billion? You get host.
Yeah.
Like,
but we've had these conversations, I think, before a billion times. All AMC's problems get solved by a larger box office, and 9 billion isn't it. So, like, AMC could survive if this year doesn't do great, but if you own equity in AMC this year and you don't see at least, probably, like, 2026 is probably the last stand. If you don't see at least close to 10 billion this year, you're going to be into significant equity issuances again in Q1 of next year, and you're going to be looking at a reverse split, and you're going to get smoked.
We're going to need some quarters over 2.6 billion, then, is what you're saying.
So the one good thing that I will say, so I do projections on AMC's quarterlies, and I generally underproject. The only quarter that I overprojected was Q4 of last year. And Q4 of last year, we lost Michael and we lost Mortal Kombat 2 in October, ended up being abhorrently bad. But the Q2 projection I have now is the highest that I've projected ever since I started doing this. So I'm well over 2.7 billion on projections. And if we have some breakouts, we have a movie that does a Deadpool and Wolverine kind of thing, then that number could be gangbusters. And that's kind of, we'll see what happens. It's, like I said, I've been wrong
excited
twice
about
already.
The potential, Mike. I'd love to have a great year to talk about once we get past this damn Q1.
But to be fair, I've been wrong twice already when I thought the turnaround was going to happen, and then the box office didn't turn out how analysts expected or how the projections expected. So,
well, this is really our year to see what North America, Canada think about returning to box office. There's going to be plenty of good movies this year, and if we can't do it this year, then I
don't know.
We got to go back to the drawing board about number of theaters that are out there.
But the one thing about 2025 is, too, if you go to the box office annually on Box Office Mojo, you have there the number of releases in 2025 didn't grow substantially at all.
Right.
So you need to have the number of blockbusters and major studio releases, which is getting close to what it was pre-pandemic, right? But
900. Look at this.
It was less than 2024.
But
you really need these mid-size and smaller movies. You need these guys to step up, and you need more movies getting put out, because the blockbusters can't support the industry on their own. Well, they can support the smaller theaters, they can support your Cinemarks, but AMC, the way the business is developed, like, you need over 700 releases. You need more of these mid-size releases and small releases coming out. You need that extra couple of billion in box office. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough go.
While I'm offering up prayers for the box office, Mike, I meant to do this when the live stream started, but I did want to pause for just a second and offer our condolences to the Sojka family. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, but Chris lost his sister. Parents lost a daughter at age 34 to cancer. She was a a big supporter of the movie industry and AMC. And we are very sad to hear the news, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Chris and his parents and all of their extended family.
Yeah, awful news. Way too young.
Yeah, it is very saddening to hear somebody succumb to cancer that early in life.
And put things in perspective. Argue about your stock investments and argue about AMC, but go live your life and
live your life, spend
life
time
is-
with your family, tell people you love them every day, all that important stuff. Don't this is stocks and
Doesn't matter.
all of
Yeah.
that. That's not life.
Mhm.
Life is your friends and family.
Yeah, Twitter is not real life. Twitter is entertainment and a way to waste a bit of time.
Moving on to
What's your thoughts for where Q1 is going to end there, Tony?
Q1, my forecast is Mike, somewhere between 1.5 and 1.7, but I think it could, if I want to be optimistic, I think maybe between 1.6 and 1.7, but today's a good day to have that chat because we're at 1 billion and we only have 4 weeks left, right? That means if I want to get 600 million by the end of March, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 weekends. That is really tough. Now, if I look at Hopper's, Scream 7, and Project Hail Mary combined, Mike, I have them forecast at $400 million, but some of that Project Hail Mary, 400 million, some of that Project Hail Mary number is going to bleed into Q2 because it comes out so late in March.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just stick with between 1.5 and 1.7.
Yeah. So my original start of the year projection was about 1.5. January did about 150 million more than I expected. Some of those carryovers like Marty Supremes and Postmate did great. So February's I had about 450 million. It looks like it's going to end up right about there with Friday and Saturday. So the number is going to be on. So I'm somewhere assuming March does as expected, and I have a healthy number for Project Hail Mary, understanding there's carryover, and assuming Hoppers doesn't supremely underperform. I'm probably somewhere in the range of about 1.6 right now.
All right.
Which I guess if you look last year and if you want to get an idea of what the cash burn is going to be, combined the Q4, Q1 last year is going to be exactly the same as the Q4, Q1 this year. This one's going to be 200 higher. Last Q4 was 200 lower. So we should expect probably about similar cash burn over the 2 quarters.
Yeah, my cash burn forecast, if we come in that 1.6 to 1.7 billion box office, I'm thinking maybe 300 million, but there's an outside chance it could be as bad as a 400 million cash burn again in Q1.
Yeah, just going to Sean Goodman's strategy and stuff like that. He seems to have about 600 million of liquidity in there. And so that's why he changed it from 50 to 150, because Q4 underperformed by about 100 million of FCF of what they're
One
expecting.
thing I have observed, Mike, and I pay very close attention to these guys, and I try and you might have heard me say, learn to think like the CFO, right?
Yeah.
I have learned that Sean Goodman is very conservative in making sure that the company has adequate liquidity. And even if it's a tough call, even if people are going to be pissed, he's going to make sure the company has enough cash to not file Chapter 11.
Well, they dug their heels in some time ago and said, we are not going to fucking bankrupt this company. And they are doing everything they can, but they need some help from the box office to
I know people get really mad at them. Like, why are you diluting again? The short interest is 24%. Why are you diluting? We're about to squeeze them. He's trying to, if literally, if he doesn't raise 150 million in Q1, you're going to be in Chapter 11 in Q1
And
because you're going to run out of cash.
Yeah. So the one positive thing, and this is way ahead of time. So when you look at major releases for Q1 of next year, they have some out. March looks much better than it's ever been. January should have some great carryovers. So if they can get a couple more big movies into February, we could have a Q1 that's not going to destroy the entire year. That's so far out, though. It's hard to predict.
I someone was asking me, I don't really
Yeah.
even have any numbers for 2027 yet.
Yeah, I don't. I've just looked at so the one site I follow for movie releases is hsx.com. So it's basically this game where they play movie releases like the stock market, and people bet on what the openings are going to be for movies. And so you can get an idea of roughly what's expected during the first 4 weeks of release based on how people are bidding different movies up and down. So they have a pretty comprehensive list of all the releases that are coming out. So when I did look into 2027, they have some major ones there, and March looks very good. February and January look pretty barren, but if they can get a couple good releases into February, it could be a decent 2 billion quarter where you burn 100 million, 150 million, and it's not going to destroy the whole year as long as the rest of the year is good. So we'll see how that turns out. But you need, like, hopefully this Paramount Warner Brothers deal, they start releasing more movies, and you get some of these studios putting some big titles into February, so we can stop this kind of Q1 disaster that's been happening since the pandemic, right?
What do you think of Baby's question here? He said, shouldn't Q1 cash burn be a lot less with all the eliminated theaters?
Well, there's not a lot of theaters eliminated. Like, they've eliminated them over time, but if you look at the financials, when you model the financials of AMC, if you want roughly zero cash burn, you need a box office of about 2.5 billion, right? So there's accounts payable math and accounting math involved. So what tends to happen in Q4 is you have such a big last 3 weeks. Like, if you work in any sort of business or anything, like I work in project management, so your accounts payable typically have 30 days or 45 days to get paid off.
Maybe
so a lot of the expenses,
if you're really lucky,
get pushed into Q1. And so that's why this Q1 cash burn is so big. But if you want zero cash burn in Q4, Q1, within the quarter itself, ignoring accounts payable, accounts receivable, you need about 2.5 billion box office. Otherwise, you're burning cash.
The thing is, Baby, to answer your question another way, if they continue to cut non-profitable locations, just like GameStop did, eventually you reach a point where you've cut everything that's losing money, and the only thing left is the profitable locations. But so AMC is not at that point.
Yeah, so you can see that in the efficiency. You can see that in the when you're modeling AMC's profitability. It's gotten better over the years because they probably have been cutting theaters.
They have been cutting.
A slow process. Yeah.
But it's just not at a rate fast enough, and we can't cut locations fast enough to save this company. It's got to come from increased box office.
And the other part of it is there's only so many locations that cut that are non-profitable, and there's still going to be a baseline box office you need to hit in order for them to stem cash burn. So even if you say they have 150 more locations to cut, you still might need, rather than 2.3 billion box office for them to break even. And we'll know that as we get more quarterly financial statements and see what their efficiency is. But right now, if they cut a couple more theaters, it might get a little bit better, but it's just going to take time to drop significantly.
The Spiz says, this might be a dumb question. There are no dumb questions. Thank you for the question. And many people have asked me your very same question. It's a great question. If they file Chapter 11, what happens to the stock? Does it instantly go to zero and get delisted? You could look at Wolf or Bed Bath and Beyond. What was Beyond Meat? Look at any of these companies that were struggling, and there's a variety of different ways it could go. And it depends on what type of restructuring they do. Do they do it out of court restructuring? Do they file in court and have the court manage the restructuring? But in general, what would happen is common stock would be completely or almost completely wiped out, and the lenders own the company. They have all the collateral in their name. So the lenders would get the company, they'd take a bath, they would lose money on what they were expecting to be paid, but they would get all of the equity of the company, assuming they wanted to keep the company running, which I imagine that they would.
Yeah, the lenders would lose billions, though.
Like they would lose money, but they would have a company that's still running.
Yeah.
Mike, wouldn't you agree that it would be dumb for them just to try and sell off all the assets? They'd never get anything back that way, right?
Yeah, well, especially with AMC,
pennies on the dollar.
They don't have a lot of ownership, so. And the lenders don't want to run a movie company. They don't know how to fucking run a movie company. But
I think that they would. Someone would run the movie company until they could recapitalize it and reissue stock
and do another public offering, and they would get some money back. But they would take a pretty big bath for sure. Yeah, they would lose a lot.
But in the process, anyone who owns stock now would be. I mean, you may as well just, if it gets to that point, you're going to zero in one way or another.
And I think there'd be warning signs of that happening. You'd probably start seeing going concern notices in the filings,
which we have not seen.
What's happened in other stocks or whatever. I don't know if the bankruptcies were completely surprising, but you'd probably start seeing going concerns notices. There would be signs that bankruptcy is imminent. The stock price would probably drop significantly. There would be issues.
And I think the reason we're not seeing those going concern warnings on AMC is they believe they have lenders who are willing to work with them to move the debt wall out, to move the maturities. They believe they have investors that are willing to provide them capital in equity issuance. And they generally believe that the box office is going to improve to where they can be free cash flow positive.
Yeah.
But they do. There's not a going concern warning, but there are plenty of warnings, wouldn't you say, Mike?
Yeah. Or they believe at least the point the box office is going to be good enough that the equity issuances are going to be pretty small moving forward. But like really right now, the box office this year, it needs to get close to 10. Otherwise, there's going to be big equity issuances. The stock price is going to drop a lot, and there's going to be big problems.
Here's my prayer, Mike. If we can get through Q1, from my mouth to God's ears, Mike. If we can get through Q1 and the stock price doesn't crater, the AMC can just sit back and be patient, and let's see how the box office does the rest of this year. And hopefully they will have adequate cash flow Q2 through Q4, and maybe we get some stock price recovery. If AMC doesn't get jumpy and try any, little liquidity tricks, we need a little more cash, or we're going to do some debt for equity swaps, or we're going to do a reverse split. I hope they don't do any of that. Just get this $150 million. Let me come in and buy the stock dirt cheap, and then don't do anything else for the rest of this year except sit back and watch that box office beat expectations.
And I will, and it's early right now, but I will look like, so my projections for Q2 are the biggest Q2 projections I've had. It's early, and it well over 2.7 billion on projections, which are mine tend to be conservative. And past that, I probably don't want to look past July. It's the biggest July box office that I've ever projected as well too. So I will say that, but no one has a crystal ball, as Adam Aaron says, and you don't know if these movies are going to hit or not. But the analysts are generally pretty good, and my projections have been decently accurate outside of maybe one quarter or so. So we'll see what happens beyond March, and let's hope March does a little bit better than expected too. So we can save a little bit of cash in Q1.
Before we wrap this up, do you guys have any other questions? I see Gorilla Grod's asking about no reverse split. Mike, what are your thoughts on reverse split? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm happy to talk about my thoughts. I'm going to allow you the opportunity to go first.
Well, you're probably better equipped, and you've been right more often than me on what happens to the stock. So I think there's pressure right now because of the ATM. Some of it's going to probably be a forward purchase agreement too. I don't know. Is there going to be a filing to indicate the stuff?
I think they'll almost certainly, probably 2/3 of this offering will be a forward agreement.
Okay. So there's going to be some pressure right now. And I think if we can get past that pressure and we can see a really big start to Q2, and maybe we'll see some recovery of the stock. I don't know how low it's going to go. I have no idea where the price is going to go. Sometimes the market's irrational. Could it be under $1 for 30 days where they start getting warnings? I certainly think that's possible. But I don't know. It's hard to predict. But one thing I do know is we need an absolutely roasting summer of box office.
Yeah.
To get some of this behind us.
I'm not talking about much or predicting a reverse split. I see all the bears saying, oh, it's inevitable. It's a certainty. Even some people in my Discord think it is a certainty, which is fine. Anyone who thinks that. I don't know, because I don't know, I try and think like the CFO in terms of cash flow, but I don't know what they're thinking, Mike, about if the price hangs out at $1.20 or $1.50 or $2 for the rest of this year. Are they going to be okay with that, or does that strategically hamper them from doing anything else that they need to do, like debt for equity swaps?
Well, let's look at it like this, right? So with this 150 million, so before the end of March, they'll have about 600 million of cash, right?
Yeah.
They're going to burn between 300 and 400 million. So the cash could be down to 200. So if they can get some free cash flow in the next 3 quarters, that brings them back up to 500 million, then maybe we don't see another equity issuance in Q1 of next year. But if they're at 300 or 400 million, we probably do.
Yeah. I'm not even
they seem to want to get to 6.
I'm not talking or even thinking about Q1 next year yet. Like if I do a trade in this stock, like let's say I jump in at the end of this ATM offering.
Yeah.
I'm only thinking, I have a window to trade the stock from Q2 to Q4 if the box office is good. I haven't made up my mind if I hold it past that, because, well, we gotta get closer to Q1 and see what the box office looks like. And do I forecast a cash burn? I don't know yet.
So I'm just thinking of pressure on the stock. So when's the next potential pressure on the stock because of
next?
Equity,
I think
equity
the next potential pressure is Q1 next year.
Yeah. So I think as long as we get a good roasting summer and Q2, Q3, Q4 generate some positive cash flow and add to the balance sheet, there's probably no pressure on the stock until December of this year. But if we get some underperformance, then it could happen before then. And then I don't know. It's scary, right?
I don't know if there will be a reverse split, Gorilla Grod. I wouldn't say it's impossible. I see people on social media saying, no way, market Adam Aaron will never do a reverse split. I don't know what he's going to do on that.
I think the chances of a reverse split go down the better the box office is the last 3 quarters.
If they can get through Q1 with adequate cash and they see that they have positive cash flow coming in, maybe they just sit back like I'm hoping and let the price move up. But if the price gets driven under $1 over the next few weeks, like Mike was saying, because of this offering that's ongoing, then you start getting in that, well, we got to start talking about a reverse split risk. And especially if the price was under $1 for 30 consecutive trading days, then they get a warning from the exchange.
Well, because you look at the chart and just like it's just like wicks everywhere, and it just like there's like zero support, And I think if you want to see, and whether you think there's manipulation or not, if you want to see some kind of support build, you need the box office to be to get people to start thinking, okay, this price is ridiculous and we need to start accumulating.
I don't think that there's no support, Mike.
It's straight down all the time.
I know, but here's what I think.
Yeah. Look at the weekly, even there's so many wicks whenever the price goes up 10, 15 cents and just gets right back down.
Let me tell you what's happening, because I talk to the Discord about this every morning. Here's the plan. If you're AMC in the morning, don't do any pre-morning sales. Let the price run up, get people excited, get them buy-in. Oh, here we go, MOAS. And as soon as you're above the average VWAP, turn on the faucet and start selling. And then the price gets ground down the rest of the day. And that is not hedge funds. That's not shorts. That is AMC and Goldman Sachs selling shares. And the unfortunate thing is the company needs to raise money, so they have to sell at some point. And if, they probably have a daily target or a weekly target of how much they need to raise. They're running about 13 million raised per week right now. And if there's not enough buyers, Mike, and they need to get 13 million this week, what happens to the price if there's not enough buyers?
So, but I don't think they want to risk reverse splitting, because that's it. They must have some sort of responsibility to the shareholders. There's probably a price where they think they can push the stock to without getting to that point.
But
who knows?
The $10,000 question right there, 100,000. What was that damn TV show? Yeah. That is the question. Does AMC have a price where, and I tweeted someone back a long reply about this today on this very topic. I don't know if AMC has a point where they say we can't sell below $1.10. It's just, it's too psychologically devastating to everybody. Maybe they have that point, but maybe, Mike, they're like, we have 30 million in accounts payable that is due in a week, and we need the fucking money. So turn on the spigot. See, I don't know what the answer is, Mike, but I can see a myriad of different scenarios. I don't know what is the true scenario.
Yeah. Well, the price is declining, but the candles are a pretty tight spread, and the volume is declining. So it seems they're trying to create some kind of support.
They don't want to crater the price.
The stock.
They do not want to crater the price, but they also need to raise money.
Yes, they do. Well, they're probably covered now for the cash burn, but they have very little cash left over. I don't know if there's any sort of like with the bondholders, if there's any sort of covenants of minimum liquidity they have to have in the balance sheet. So I think with that 420, they're somewhere probably around the high 400s, close to 5 now with equity issuances and the money they had left over. So they're probably covered for cash burn for Q1, but it's not leaving them a whole lot of money left over.
They probably have adequate cash to not have zero, is what you're saying. That like they could pay the bills, but they have that. They do have that minimum liquidity with the lenders and I'm sure the lenders are checking with them every day. What's your balance sheet look like? What's the liquidity look like?
So it depends what that number, like what number do they want to end Q1 at? And that's probably,
you got your daily minimum liquidity check, and then you got your, what are we going to report at the end of Q1 check?
Yeah. And then Mario hits, and hopefully that's a big boost to cash flows and stuff like that. But
yes, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. But it's a butt clenching 4 weeks right now, probably for everybody working in the board office there at AMC. Yeah.
The Spiz says, if they do a reverse split, does that also reverse split the shares they have available to do an offering?
Yeah. So if they did a reverse split and the shares went down to 200 million, they still have a 1.1 billion authorized share.
Yeah, they have 1.1 billion authorized right now. They have 270 million left. Not that many. If they did a 1-for-10 reverse split, the float would drop from, let's say,
700 to
let's
70.
say 800 million, including the convertibles and all that. It would drop from 800 million down to 80 million on a 1 for 10, but they still
Their
have
authorized would still be 1.1 billion.
1.1 billion authorized. So they have plenty of shares that they could sell, but then you get into the market's going to say, well, of course they're going to sell them. Let's drive the price down, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
It's not a scenario I want to go through again. And I'm sure you guys don't either. And I'm sure AMC doesn't want to go through it again either, Mike.
No.
If they can avoid it.
Well, if their intention, like I said, is to not bankrupt the company and keep things going, they're doing what they have to do. But you would assume they've gone through all this pain and all this hassle and all this harassment and everything that they've been going through to eventually get the stock price stable, unless everyone's completely corrupt and nobody cares, right? But we'll see.
I'll always leave room, Mike, because I know I'm not always right, that maybe everybody is corrupt, including management, but I don't think that they are. I can't say.
I don't know anybody that would. I don't know anybody that would go through all this pain and all this harassment and all this stress when they could have retired 5 years ago.
Yeah, they could have made many decisions earlier to shut her down. How does Highcroft play a role in this? Well, they sold half their holdings and they have, what's Highcroft at right now? $50. They have $40 million worth of Highcroft. And it is my expectation, Mike, that they will sell the Highcroft in Q1 to boost the cash even more. That is my expectation.
They haven't yet, though.
No, they haven't yet, but I'm just saying it's my bet that some point in Q1, AMC is going to sell the remainder of its Highcroft. That would be a fantastic. They'd more than double their money.
It's a hell of a return.
It's a hell of a return, and it would add significant additional liquidity to the balance sheet. So if I was Sean, I'm trying to think like Sean, I would sell Highcroft over $50 in Q1.
Well, rather than push the price under $1, I think that's probably the best choice.
Yes.
And Mr. Sprott would probably jump at getting those warrants and remaining shares.
The Spiz says, so wouldn't it make sense to reverse split, then offer to pay a large amount of debt, which would then be good for the stock? The reverse split, it doesn't generate any money, just reverse splitting. So,
and I think, well, if you look at what happened with the last reverse split, before they can even put a filing out, after the reverse split, the stock price was up $20. Before they could even put a filing out, the price tanked to $7.
Yeah.
And if they said we're going to do 200 million shares at $7, the price would be at $2 within a week. And so that's what AMC is grappling with, whether it's fair or not fair. It's probably legal, and it's what AMC has to deal with. And I think it's completely unfair. I think public markets should be there for companies to raise liquidity, not to enrich individual short sellers or people like that. But it's the rules within which we live in. And so
since Mike, I'm looking for a bullish entry at the right moment with perfect timing if I can get it. But if there was a reverse split, that would crater any strategy that I had. So I'm going to pray that they don't do one.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that I'm still on the sideline, kind of letting everybody's moving pieces around. Goldman's probably shorting right now. They're in their initial hedging period for the forward agreement. AMC is selling shares. We got Goldman selling. We got AMC selling. We got people's psyche is kind of shaken because the price is at $1 and they're being fear-mongered about reverse splits and bankruptcy. Look, there's a lot of moving parts. So for me, this is not any advice for you guys. For me, I feel more comfortable just carefully watching and waiting, and I need a little bit more news drops. I need to know that the offering's done. Maybe if the offering could be done, Mike, right around the time Q2 starts and all that box office excitement, I would probably be willing to take a little swing and then hope that they don't rug me with a reverse split.
Yeah, see what happens and see the price run up. Well, I think even with the reverse split, there has to be a vote, and you would have some notice about it.
Well, that's true. There would have
Yeah.
to be a vote. Yeah.
So there would be warnings about it. The stock price
Fair
would
point.
be under $1 for 30 days. I'm sure AMC would apply for an extension, similar to what HYMC did when their price went down. They applied for extension for like 90 days or
Yeah,
whatever.
but you're assuming that they do a RS because of a exchange warning. I'm like, what if they just decide they need more headroom for equity raises or debt for equity swaps? What if there is no
ceiling? So unless they still have 200 million or 300 million shares that they can issue, so there's not an immediate need for that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that, Mike. That's my final answer.
There would be
right
some
now.
warning ahead of time. But
My final answer is I'm not going to rule it out, but I'm not obsessing over a reverse split right now. But if you want to argue with me and say, Tony, I think it's coming, look, I don't have any defensible theory that I could tell you it's not coming. It could come. I don't know. I'm not hyper focused on it, but is it a possibility? Yeah, it's a possibility.
I think that the most likely scenario, with the assumption that the stock price can stay over $1 through Q1 and equity issuances are done and Q2 hits and Mario's a massive success, you're probably risk of a reverse split lower significantly. I think that's probably fair. Yeah.
All right, Mike, I think we're going to wrap it up here in a couple minutes. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to add about Warner Brothers? I had an article here I wanted to look at. Paramount.
Yeah, we got off that, I guess, quite a bit.
Well, that's fine. I wanted to talk about a little bit of AMC and other cinema exhibitors as well. David Ellison scares the shit out of me. How Paramount beat out Netflix, won Warner Brothers, and will change Hollywood forever. Who said David Ellison scares the shit out of me? Do you know who said that, Mike?
Some anonymous Warner Brothers employee, probably.
Ted Sarandos had just wrapped up the White House meeting with Attorney General Pam Bondi when Warner Brothers released a statement that Paramount's latest bid was a superior proposal. Sarandos quickly consulted with a team of executives at Netflix. And, well, it didn't say what he did. Under the terms of the agreement, Netflix had 4 business days to offer a better offer, but the numbers didn't lie. Paramount was willing to pay $31 per share to buy all of Warner Brothers Discovery, including its struggling cable business. Netflix only wanted to pay $27.75. Sarandos didn't see the point in dragging things out, so he placed a call to Warner Brothers to say we're out. And I'm looking for the who said Ellison scared the shit out of me. The transaction was always a nice to have at the right price, but not a must have at any price. They're going to make me read this whole article to find out who said that.
Probably a clickbait headline.
Oh, here it is. Ellison scares the shit out of me, says one A-list director, anonymous Mike. Are the movies they put out going to be catered to Trump's taste? Come on, man. It's fucking politics already back in here.
Like Paramount runs South Park, which fucking murdered Trump.
Are they going to start cracking down on content they don't find to be ideologically? Help me out, Mike. Ideologically?
Yeah.
I can't say that word. I know ideology. Ideology. idea.
The one thing I will say is like these kind of articles in Twitter aren't real life. Like there was supposed to be a
Yeah,
big
this is
boycott
variety.
of
They're in bed with the liberals, Mike.
yeah. Like there was supposed to be a big boycott of Scream 7, and it's doing the biggest opening in the franchise history, right? Because of whatever politics bullshit that was involved. I think if Ellison has a little bit of business savvy, and he's got the artisan Warner Brothers to make a bunch of great movies like One Battle After Another, which I didn't like, but many people loved, and to make movies like Sinners, which actually I did quite like very much. But he can also make movies and shows like one that I just watched recently. A show that I watched recently was Night of Seven Kingdoms, which was a phenomenal show, which talked about morality, but had nothing to do with politics, which I think we need more of. If they can just get back to that and provide a little bit of something for everybody, like that's what theaters are about. It's like get all these different viewpoints and have a bunch of different content where you're going to have a whole bunch of people going. And hopefully that's what happens with this Warner Brothers Paramount merger.
They wrap this up, Mike. They say Ellison's politics have alarmed many in left-leaning Hollywood, but some people are impressed with the executive team he has installed at Paramount, including Josh Greenstein, who was brought over from Sony Pictures to help oversee the film studio with Dana Goldberg.
Let's make money.
That's all we need to do, Mike. Put out some good movies and make some money.
You want to make some risky movies, low budgets. You want to make some sure thing movies that apply to all quadrants, have bigger budgets.
I need to go over there and work helping them do their budget approvals, Mike, because
save the movie industry, Tony. You go to enough movies now, be an executive at Paramount and make everything work.
Freaking spending on some of these projects is out of control.
Oh, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Clark, what's up? He says, I'm curious what you think of SoFi. I would tell you guys, number one, make sure you're following Markets with May on Twitter, because she is very heavy into talking about SoFi on a daily basis. I sold my SoFi position, and I'm waiting for it to come back down. I'm not anti-SoFi.
How is May doing? Have you talked to her recently?
We had not talked for I looked it up on I only talked to her on X messages, Mike, and it had been like 17 weeks since I talked to her. And so I sent her a message, and because she had said she was going to be leaving Twitter. And I was like, don't leave Twitter. She's like, oh no, I'm pulling back, but she's still around. She's doing fine.
I always enjoyed her insight. It was nice to be able to get someone with that experience to provide their insight for free. Was what a boon that was.
I wish, Mike, that I had known then what I know now. We should make a song about that. Wish I knew then what I know now. She had the right idea, Mike. Buy distressed bonds, pennies on the dollar, and she got a huge return on those bonds as the company recovered.
Yeah.
That was a fucking fantastic plan. And what happened to us that were just holding common? We got diluted.
Well, the bond holders get paid first, right?
Right.
The equity holders get paid second, but you need the box office for the equity holders to get paid.
I didn't grow up over the last 30 years of trading troubled stocks, Mike. And I certainly didn't buy bonds either because I was too young. So I didn't have the right frame of reference to understand what she was doing and why. I mean, yes, I studied all of that in college 30 years ago, but now I have really, over the last couple of years, tried to really, really make sure I'm on top of understanding bonds, how it all plays into these plays, how the lenders think, anticipating what lenders are going to do. And that has completely changed my game on predicting what's going to happen with these stocks, including GameStop.
Yeah.
Understanding how the lenders think, what their motivations are.
Yeah.
May
No,
have the right idea. Buy bonds.
yeah, and she understood the balance sheets and the operation statements like nobody I knew, and well, she saw an opportunity for the equity, but she got
And
her
she believed that
bonds are going to
AMC.
get paid first,
She
and she knew
believed that
it.
AMC was not going bankrupt, and she was right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
Anyone who took that bet made a killing.
Mhm.
And Anya says there's a reason she teaches at Columbia U. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Clark says I was hearing that SoFi is growing about 35% a year. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because Anya wants me to talk about SoFi and Clark does too. I will reach out to May this weekend and let's see if we can get a SoFi powwow going. How about that, you guys? Because
if you want to get her to talk about for 5 minutes AMC bonds and the common equity and her thoughts, I would listen for that too, Tony.
Okay. I do talk to Sparky about the AMC bonds and the GameStop bonds almost daily. So, and the other thing, just while y'all are here, is because you guys are special. You're here on the Friday night live stream. What I told the Discord yesterday and today, this is my opinion, but it is based on reasonable understanding of how these debt deals work. The fact that AMC announced that they were selling the bonds on Monday. Remember, Mike, we did the pre-release and they said, we're selling these bonds now. I was expecting, as I told my Discord, we would get an 8K within a day or two. And then Tuesday came, nothing. Wednesday came, nothing. Now we're at Friday, nothing. And as I talk to people out there, what they're telling me is that this bond sale from AMC is meeting a little bit of friction. It's not going as slam dunkish as they hoped, which means if we were thinking because this new debt is B rated that they're going to get between 9 and 10%, I'm just thinking, Mike, 9% is not in my wish list anymore. I'd be happy with 9.5.
So for me, the thing that really boggles my mind, and we've talked about it a little bit, is that 2029 debt is 4 years away.
I know.
The
I don't have a good
2027
answer.
debt is 18 months away.
I don't have an answer why they looped in the 2029, but maybe because they thought they could get 1% better. And they can always refinance it again in a year.
Yeah. So refinancing costs money. And they've always done it about 18 months ahead of time. And so the 12 and 12.75% OD on debt, they have to do it whether they can get a better rate or not. It looks like they probably can get a better rate on it, so go do it. But why would they spend all the money to refinance 2029 debt now and push it out 2 years if they're not going to get a better rate and pay all that money for it?
I'll see if I can. That
one doesn't make sense to me.
I'll see if I can get a better answer to that. My default answer as well, because they think they could get a considerably better rate, but the rate was already dropping in Q4 below 11%. It was like 10.7. So if they only drop it to 9.5, and you're talking about the fees and all that, you have a valid point.
So if they got to spend $100 million in refinance fees to save $80 million over the next few years, like, why would you bother? Or even if it's $120 million they save, it's a marginal amount. Why wouldn't you wait 18 months out with the assumption that the box office is going to be better than $9 billion? Because if it's not better than $9 billion, you're fucked anyways by 2028, right? So why wouldn't you wait then to see if you can get the better rates if you can't get better rates now?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'll see if I can get a better answer for that this weekend.
There's a good question for Sparky and for May as well too.
Yeah, that I like to ask multiple people, so I'm not getting biased information. But both of them are good resources that they're honest people. I know some people don't like bond traders, but I have a pretty good filter for who is being genuine and who is not, and who knows their shit and who doesn't. And they're both smart people.
And there's probably a bunch of things about it I don't understand. So maybe there's an explanation that I just don't get as to why they'd want to push that 2029 debt out this early, even if they're not getting a better rate. Yeah.
Clark says, are you jumping in and out of Railtown? No, Clark, I'm holding my Railtown. I'm adding if it drops below 30 cents. We almost, you can see my demand zones here. We almost dropped in where I was going to buy this week, but we bounced out. So I'm only trying to add if I can keep my cost basis under 30 cents. That's an arbitrary number, Clark. Like if you think this stock is going to $1 or $2, other YouTubers tell you it's going to $400, whatever. Does it matter if you got in at 23 cents or 38 cents? It doesn't matter. But I'm just a jerk like that, Clark. I want the best cost average I can keep so that if things don't work out as I hoped, then I've managed my risk somewhat. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to, this thing was at 60 cents and the other YouTubers were telling people, buy it, buy. Look at this. And now we went all the way down to 23 cents. I don't want to be buying it up here because I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm perfectly okay based on the chart, based on history, based on previous lows a year ago. 20 to 30 cents is cool with me. And no, I'm not trading out of it because my belief, Clark, is that there will be a upward inflection point. How high is that going to be? I don't know. When this company reports revenue in the next quarter or so, the TELUS AI factory is running. We know Railtown has a revenue share with them. And I don't have any numbers from Railtown. I don't know what it's going to be. We can all make guesses and anyone's guess is valid. My guesses are going to be conservative. But I will take whether it's $1, $2, $10, $55, doesn't matter to me. We will judge that when we have numbers to talk about. I'm not going to come on live every day and make up numbers just to have something to talk about. I just know that I'm bullish, Clark, and I recognize this is a highly speculative play because we have no revenue yet, but we know revenue's coming. That I have no doubt about that. Have you checked this one out yet at all, Mike? RLAIF?
I've seen you talk about it, but no, like I said, I tend to stay away from single stocks. AMC is probably
fair enough.
It's enough. If it's enough work and research to stay in one.
These are our little gamble plays, Mike, that make the day fun. And every now and then we get some of them right, and we make huge gains. And if we're wrong, that's why this is not there's literally people, Mike, that own on YouTube audiences on other channels that have positions of 200,000-300,000 shares, which is great if the stock, if it flies, fantastic. But what if it doesn't, and that's your only holding? That's a personal decision. Everybody gets to make that for themselves. I don't take that much risk. I don't put all of my eggs in one basket.
No, since I've gotten more and more into it, the amount of research you have to put in to have somewhat of a competent idea of business, it's a lot of work. And I work a full-time job and I got hobbies, I got other things to do. So,
and we also
I don't know how you do it. I guess kind of your job is stock trading a bit. So
yeah, I don't have to go anywhere, Mike. I'm up every day at 5, 6 a.m. That's where I start my day, and I'm here every night till 7, 8, 9 o'clock.
So I try to be a little bit self-reflective and not pretend to know things that I don't know. So the one stock research is probably enough for me. And then once I'm probably done with AMC, I'll probably be done with single stocks for quite some time.
The market is really good, Mike, at pointing out to us what we don't know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It cracks me up now when I think back to how overconfident I used to be on some things. Mm-hmm. And then I was humbled enough in some of these speculative plays by being wrong, by being overconfident, that I'm self-reflective. If I'm wrong about something and it's punishing me in my portfolio, I'm going to step back and say, what the fuck am I doing wrong? But I see other people out there on social media that in 5 years, they've never had that aha moment like, what am I doing wrong? Let me step back. Let me analyze this from another way. They still think they are never wrong. And I've watched thousands of people ride stocks, many dozens of tickers to zero, thinking that they're never wrong. And then what do? They spend 2, 3, 4, 5 years following bankruptcy filings, court process, hoping to get back pennies on the dollar. Well, all you had to do is not think that you are infallible.
Yeah. It's and I made, like I said, I lost out on enough potential gains from AMC when I first got into it that I started looking into the company filings and stuff itself, and I started listening to you to kind of understand, to start to learn to know what I don't know, which was very, very helpful. And I got lucky enough that I took my initial money out back when I didn't know anything. But then, like I said, I got into it. I'm like, well, there's potential here. If the box office can recover, there's huge potential. So I've kind of been on it ever since, and I've been holding on to see whether or not that actually materializes. So
that's one thing I like about you, Mike. You've always been very positive on the box office. You have very high expectations, but you are also willing to ask questions and listen to other opinions like me, which might not be 100% in alignment with yours. My goals for the ultimate success of everybody trading this stock are probably right in line with yours.
I've been, I've been wrong twice. There were 2 separate times where I thought this is the turnaround and this is where we're going to start seeing some growth in EBITDA and some positive cash flow and earnings. Right? 2 separate times I've been wrong and it hasn't materialized and things haven't happened. So that's humbled me as well. So we'll see if this time is the time, or if that's maybe that'll be it for me. So
everything's a learning experience, and these stocks are as good as a college education if you're willing to ask questions.
100%. Yeah.
Mike, thank you for your time tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you as well. If you're in the Discord, we will see you on the next one. We got one final comment from Clark. He says, Julie wanted me to tell you, Tony, that you are her favorite. She trusts you more than any other YouTuber out there. I appreciate that, Clark. And Julie, thank you very much. I do my best. I know a lot of people don't like me. I know a lot of people don't trust me. I published a tweet today on AMC's 8K saying that they've only sold 20 million shares so far of this ATM. 20 million shares worth $26 million. And right away, the bots, these bots out there, oh, here's Tony Shilnaro. Like, what is your fucking problem? I'm talking about a company press release. There are a lot of people that hate me for covering facts without a bias. My only bias is I want to make some money. I don't want to lose money. And maybe some of y'all want to come along on that journey. And if we're talking AMC, I'm going to share the company info. I'll give you some analysis and opinion based on 5 years of mostly being correct, especially the last couple years once we let some of the other stuff go. And I'm waiting for that moment, which I think, Mike, is really close. Between now and April 1st, I'm hoping to be able to say I'm taking a swing trade on this again. But like I said, I got to let the big boys finish moving their pieces around on the puzzle table. I'm still watching them. They're not done yet.
Well, I will be watching what you're doing, and I'll be watching the box office and deciding for myself how I want to manage things. If I want to keep holding throughout 27 and 28 and seeing some recovery, or I'll be listening to you on what the risks of additional ATMs and all that kind of stuff are.
Yeah,
sure.
I have no guarantees that I'll call the bottom perfectly. I don't even know how low it's going to go, or if today was the low.
I don't either.
Like, there's things that I'm watching for on the chart and filings. There's no magic answer. Everything is still, the big boys are moving the pieces.
And even
I know what they need to do. I don't know when they're done until everything tells us they're done.
And even for the box office, it looks like it's going to be great, but we'll see.
Let's get to Project Hail Mary. Go see Scream 7. Go see Hoppers. And go see a movie.
We'll see how she goes.
Mike, thank you very much. We will see you on the next one.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Tony. Appreciate it.
Let me find, here's my outro video. Here we go.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short screenplays where fortunes flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Hedge funds trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, you'll never stop. From diamond hands to rocket ships, we're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, molasses in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet. We will win even if they cheat. Dilute us more, we don't care. Book value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.